You've been asking for months, hoping I would do something like December daily this year again. So here I am, and it's going to be even better this year. Welcome to DEPHEMEREMBER. It's Barbara from Vienna, Austria. What's going to be better, you ask? As you can maybe tell from the unpronounceable title, this December daily series is about ephemera in December, and it's also a collaboration with none other than my friend Luise Heinzl. That means that you get to watch 2 videos every day instead of just one. So make sure you check the playlist below with Luise's daily videos as well. I will add them as Luise posts them, as I'm not sure what time she will be posting hers. So keep checking the playlist or just subscribe to her channel in order not to miss any of her videos either. We have put our heads together and had a lot of fun coming up with this list of daily prompts for you for December 1 to 25. You will find this list linked in the description box below, and we really hope you will follow along. If you've been following us on Instagram, you will have seen this list already a week ago when we posted it for the first time. And I want to mention that our goal was to make ephemera using basic supplies. So please don't worry if you see things on there like, for example, index cards that you don't have. We will make our own. Also, we will both have lots of goodies, freebies, and a giveaway mixed into our videos. So it's definitely worth watching both videos daily because you never know when the next surprise will pop up and for how long it actually will be available. So if you have a YouTube channel and would like to join in for one or more prompts or an Instagram account, please use the DEPHEMEREMBER hashtag and tag us so that we can include your videos and your posts in our stories on Instagram and our playlists on YouTube. I already know of a few fellow YouTubers who will also be joining us, at least for some of the prompts. So keep checking the playlists down below. I will have separate playlists, one for my videos, one for Luise's, and one for anyone else who wants to join. So there should be plenty of videos for you to watch during December. And I will share the DEPHEMEREMBER hashtag for Instagram for you below as well. But before we start making some DEPHEMEREMBER, we need to do something else. And this is something that you loved in last year's December daily. So I couldn't not do it this year. Can you guess what it is? It's the infamous Haribo Advent Calendar. You really enjoyed this last year, and I wouldn't have bought it this year if it wasn't for you awesome viewers. So I don't want to deprive you. So let's look for window number 1 and open that and see what yummy gummy bears are inside. So here, so this is a tradition that we have in Austria as well as a lot of other countries. And you can get advent calendars with anything these days. Traditionally, they wouldn't have had any sweets. Traditionally, they would have just had like little miniature images behind these doors. Then they had candy, they had chocolates, and now you can have anything. And I'm just such a sucker for gummy candy that I choose the Haribo ones. And it's not sponsored. I bought this myself. So here we have the first one. It's regular gummy bears in a Christmas packaging. It says Merry Christmas. So that's our December 1 treat. I wish I could share it with you all. I really do. So we will be tackling these prompts in the order that you see them here. We're not going to jump around. So we're going to start off with ribbon and playing card. So these are the 2 elements that we need to include in today's ephemera. And just so you're aware, first of all, we will only be making the ephemera, meaning we're not going to be adding it to a journal or anything. I don't know what Luise is planning to do, but I'm planning to make a journal for January in which I will incorporate this ephemera. So my goal is to make the ephemera somewhat cohesive, so it will all work within one journal. And the second thing is, since this will go beyond December, the items I will be making are not going to be Christmas themed. So if that's what you were hoping for, then I am super sorry to disappoint you. They will probably be winter themed because January and February are still winter months here, but not Christmas themed specifically. Okay, let's get cracking. Ribbon and playing card. What can we make out of these two elements? And also, just one last thing before we get started. I know this is quite a long intro. Luise and I did not put these words together already thinking about something we had in mind. Rather, we had a list of all of these and then we just scrambled them up and checked what came out. So we are going to be struggling just as you might with some of these. So I went through my playing cards to see what I wanted to use, and I came across these huge ones. These are from the Flying Tiger, which is a chain we have. You can see here it's from Denmark. We have this in Europe. I'm guessing they would still be available, but you can use any type of playing card, any regular playing card. And if by chance you don't have any playing cards at home that you want to destroy, what you could do is take a piece of cardstock and cut it in a shape of a playing card, and then you can kind of decide how big you want yours to be and just round the corners off. And there you have your playing card. So anyone can do this. You could even take a pizza box or something like that. So I'm going to take one of these cards. I think this size is just so fun. And it gives me more space to work with, of course. So let's see if I still have maybe a queen left. Actually, no, I don't want a queen because I will be covering most of it. So it would be a shame. So let's just maybe take this one. Given that my journal is of course going to be a vintage journal, I want my playing card to also look vintagey. So one thing I could do would be just to roughen it up a little bit with some sandpaper. I get this at the hardware store and also was able to buy this. This kind of just makes it easier to hold, but totally not necessary. So that's one thing you could do to kind of make it look older, and then maybe go over it with some distress ink or oxide. I've done that in the past, but today I wanted to try something different. Something I'm not sure I've ever done, which is to make it look vintage using some tea bags. So these are used tea bags from black tea that I have drunken, and then I've let it dry and emptied out the contents. And so then you get these lovely, lovely tea bags, which are just super fun for collaging. So I thought I would give that a try, and to put these over so that we can still see underneath it's a playing card. And then that will be our base for whatever comes next. And I thought I would do that with some Liquitex acrylic matte medium. I don't like my surfaces to be shiny, which is why I don't like using Mod Podge. Even the matte Mod Podge is not really matte, so I prefer this. If I could only find my brush. There we go. So I'm just going to cover the whole surface. I think it's really cool to then have all this ephemera ready to go for a junk journal. So we'll have at least 25 pieces. Maybe on some of the days I'll do more than one piece. I don't know yet. But it's also kind of interesting to have a theme in mind already. And I would encourage you to do that as well, because that way it will all work in a future junk journal. So now I'm just putting these on and going over it with some more Mod Podge. a Mod Podge gel medium. You could of course also do this with napkins. If you have a nice napkin, which works maybe as a background, that would also be great. I really like this one with the spots. I guess I put, I think watercolors over this. So I think that looks super cool. Maybe I'm going to tear this. And we can of course add more splatters or anything we want on the top afterwards. And as you can see, I'm letting the tea bags hang over the edge because I want to cover the whole thing, and I will be cutting those edges once this has dried. So I'm envisioning this to be a large card with some writing space on the back that we can maybe tuck into a pocket or something. And if you don't want to wait doing this and you don't have any used tea bags, you can also just use tea bags like that are not used, and then maybe go over it with some distress ink or distress oxide or some watercolors or something, just to grunge it up a little bit. So there's many ways that you could make your card look more vintage if that was the style you're going for. So once it's dry, you can just turn it around and cut away any excess you might have. You could also tear the edges actually if you wanted a more rough edge. I don't know why I wasn't thinking about that now. That would also look super cool. Might have preferred that look actually, but oh well, it is what it is now. And of course, we're not throwing these away. We can use these in other collages. I have no idea what Luise is doing, so hopefully she's not doing the same thing I'm doing. Well, obviously, we're never gonna have the exact same thing, but I wonder if she's gonna start off in a similar way to how I am. We're of course hoping that you will find a lot of inspiration in our videos, and so the more different our videos are, the more inspiration you can get. But even if we start off the same with a background like this, I'm sure the end result will look super different because our styles are different. I think this is such a cool base to start off with. What a fun background. Next, I want to find a focal point for this card. I like using any opportunity I can get to make a collage. And I'm choosing a bird out of this wonderful book. This is one I found at my Goodwill, and I'm trying to find the information that you would need in case you want to look for this somewhere, which should be here. So hopefully you can find what you need. So it's 1991, and it has beautiful images of birds, and they're quite large, so I would not be able to use these on a regular playing card anyway. They are absolutely adorable. Love this book so much. There's a series. I have 4 of this series. They all have different birds, and I think one has other animals. There are more to the series, so maybe you can find some of the other ones as well. Aren't these just so gorgeous? And they're matte and just absolutely beautiful. So I already went through this and chose one, which is this one. And the reason why I love this image is not only because the bird is super pretty and I love this color. In German, it's called a Drossel, or more particularly Gartenrotschwanz. This is the Latin name. I don't know the English name, I'm sorry. But the other reason why I love this image is because of this wire here. And that really inspired me to try something on this card to make it a little more interesting. So I will tear this out. And then I will cut around this bird. I'm not sure yet how much of the wire I want showing. The reason I think why I love this image so much is because I'm a city girl and I live in the city. I live in the middle of Vienna, and I love this contrast of nature and urban elements because that's exactly what my life is basically. So I feel very attached to this, but it is of course too white. So I'm going to take my flat brush and just go over this lightly to just take away some of that stark whiteness. And I believe I will be adding splatters as well, so that will also help a little bit. And then I think I'll take my other brush and go around it, at least on the top here. I don't know if this is going to work, but I have this little twig. I have a collection of a few little branches in different widths, and I'm thinking if I could place it here. It's not totally flat, so I think I need to like get rid of this part. And then I'd have to get rid of this. And then I also have some copper wire here, and I thought I could wrap this around some of the branch to replicate this copper wire that we have here. I love adding elements to a collage that are already in the original image that I'm using. I think that just kind of makes it more special. I'm not really sure how I want to wrap this around. I don't really want it to be super neat. And I just want to mention, these are all things I have not tried out before. I have not made samples of this before turning on the camera. I am really like just doing this as I'm filming, and either it will work or it won't. And if it won't, I'm going to change it as many times as it takes to work until I'm happy with it. That's the plan anyway. And I'm guessing that the length of my videos will vary a lot. None of them are probably going to be super long because they are daily videos. But some might be longer than others, and I'm guessing this one might be a longer one. Some of them I will do with a voiceover as well. So you'll just have to watch and see what happens. I'm just as curious as you are, to be honest. Okay, I'm going to cut these. Okay, so that's what this looks like. It's a bit weird. And now it's not really flat. I do have to push it down to be more flat. I guess I have to attach this with my glue gun. Otherwise it's not going to hold. Unless, I just had another idea. I could just add some wire and poke it through and then attach it on the back. That might be a better option. So I'll take my awl and poke some holes where I think it makes sense, and hope that the paper won't tear. And then just take some wire bits and attach this. Like that, and I'll do that for all of the holes that I've poked. I ended up only attaching this twig in 3 spots. I decided that was enough hassle. If you want to do something like this and your paper is kind of thin, then it would be better to glue this maybe on first and then to put the holes through your card so that you have a better base and you won't tear your paper. One thing I always think of when I think of birds, besides music paper, is feathers. So I have these feathers here, which I want to kind of place around. I don't remember where I got these from. I'm pretty sure you can get these on Etsy. Maybe make sure that they are ethically sourced. That's one thing I would pay attention to. And this third one, because you know I like working in 3s, could either put down here, or we could even put it like behind the branch. Yeah, I think I like that. So I'm going to attempt to glue these with my glue gun and be very, very careful and use my tweezers so that I don't get near the hot glue with my hand. And try to squeeze that in. There's one. And there's two. And there's three. And now I can turn the whole thing around and glue it down. Again, being super careful not to get anywhere near the glue with my finger. Too many bad experiences with that. I want this to have a little more of a wintry feel, so I want to add some splatters, some white splatters. I'm going to use my cheap white gesso for this. I will put a little bit of water in here, but I'm hoping to get some pretty big splatters. Just going to cover his face because I don't want anything going into his eye. Yes, these are nice splatters. Now it does kind of look weird that there's splatters everywhere except on his head. So I'm gonna just take a tiny piece and put it there. There, I think that's better. Yeah, it's a little better. So I've dried everything with my heat gun. This really looks urban to me. I like that. And now, of course, we still need the ribbon. We haven't attached a ribbon yet. So I went through my ribbons and I came across this one, and maybe you recognize this. This is the one I received from Andrea from Artie Maze. She sent me these with the package with her ephemera items for the 5 Artists 1 Folio collaboration we recently had. And I really like this one, but I think I like this part of it better. And I think that goes quite well here. So I'm just going to cut a piece off here where they're sewed together. I'm really curious to know if Andrea sewed these together herself and tore this up herself, or whether she got it like this, but I love it. And I'm thinking, rather than just, you know, making the ribbon up here traditionally like on a tag, I actually want to tie it around the branch. And leave that hanging down. And I'm actually going to leave them longer than the card is, because I just had the thought that since this is so big and so dimensional, I think this would be a great piece for a journal cover. And then I can still add things behind it to embellish it further. But I really like the idea of having this on a nature journal cover. So this way I also don't have to worry about the back. Otherwise, my idea was to then just cover the back with a piece of coffee dyed paper, and I would have probably stamped some bird image or something on it for some interest, but then to just leave the rest for journaling. But in this case, I won't bother because I'm going to be gluing that down anyway. So this is my first piece of ephemera for my January journal. I hope it gave you some inspiration. Try out different things, see what you have at home, maybe collect some things in nature. There's so much you can do. I hope this was fun. Go check out the playlists below. Check what Luise did. Check what anyone else did. I'm not sure that at this point I already have other videos in the other playlists, but keep checking back. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Hope to see you tomorrow. Love you guys. Mwah, mwah.